always welcome on our campus. I also would like to turn a moment over to one of our business faculty, Russ Johnson, who has an announcement to make.
Today kicks off registration for spring semester. We just want to remind you of some of the exciting classes we teach in the business department. Two in particular as it relates to this class. Number one is social media marketing. The US 1300, a number of the speakers have talked about the importance of social media marketing. And this class uses social media, the business aspect, the marketing, the partnership, the visibility, to increase the awareness of our website, our blog, etc., our presence, our online presence. So social media marketing is the first one. The second is a brand new class we're starting, BUS 2222, that's 42, Entrepreneurship. It's centered around idea generation and feasibility, and how can I test my idea, how can I market my idea, how can I monetize my idea, how can I make money with my idea. So it's either starting a business on the side or full-time, or even these entrepreneurial skills that apply in our organizations, in our lives. So those two key classes that are kind of a spin-off or a next step from this class, entrepreneurship and social media marketing. Thank you.
And just a reminder, if you'll turn off your cell phones, I'm going to go ahead now, and it'll be my privilege to introduce today's guest presenter. We have with us Mr. Neal Harmon. Since 2009, Neal Harmon, co-founder of Bid Angel, has helped launch a number of YouTube marketing campaigns, most notably Orabrush and Pooperies. While doing his work, he found that many of the YouTube videos had language as well as some content that was contradictory to his family's values. And so he started to toy with the idea of building something cool on YouTube that could allow families and people who didn't want that content to be able to watch it without that content. So after endless hours of legal research and programming and business plans and preparation, he, together with his brothers, launched Bid Angel, which is it's a family filter for streaming movies and YouTube that allow viewers themselves to choose what to see and hear without alteration of the original work. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Neal Harmon.
Thank you, Alan. And Russ, that's great. You guys are having a social media marketing class. I hope that some of the stories I share today will be useful and helpful to you. Can you guys hear me well enough with this mic back over in this corner? All right, I'll try to get it as close as I can here. How's this? Is that good? All right, so I wanted to start with just a quick concept, if you'll indulge me for a second. The simplest case is something that I learned from a very, very bright professor out of Fresno State in California. That I actually learned it from Dylan Denoyer at BYU, but it's Walter Gong. I don't know if any of you are familiar with his work, but Walter Gong talked a lot about this. And the simplest case for anything in the world helps us to understand the world, make sense of it. And I put up here a couple of simplest cases. E equals mc squared helps us to understand the world well enough that we can pinpoint with our phone something within feet instead of within yards, just because of relativity and our understanding of relativity. And then for Pythagoras' theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared helps us to understand the nature of a right triangle. And I'm going to share with you another simplest case that will allow you guys to get free lunches for the rest of your time here at Snow College, if anybody's up for that. But if you can go into I saw there's a little cafeteria here, you can just go in there, make sure that they're not in your entrepreneurship class, and then go up to them and say, I'll make a bet with you on whether or not you can win this game against me. And then tell them what how the game works, and then just tell them, if you can beat me, I'll buy you lunch, but if I beat you, you have to buy me lunch. And it's called the 21 stick game. And I need 2 volunteers to come up here and play this game. We have 2 right over here. Okay, come on up. What are your names? Jacob? Aubrey? Okay, Aubrey, I'll let you choose a color first. All right. So the way the game works is that someone goes first, and you have 2 options. Option number 1 is to X out 1 stick, and option number 2 is to X out 2 sticks. Okay? And the person who X's out the last stick of these 21 sticks loses. Okay? Go ahead and begin. Ladies first. Go over here. So just either X out 1 stick or 2 sticks. You start up here on the left side. You don't want to be the one who draws the line through this stick. Okay, go ahead. 1 or 2.
I do not mind.
No, we're going to play 2 games. Go ahead. All right, thanks for being a good sport. All right, so why did you win the game? Does anybody here think that they can beat him at this game? Come on up. All right, thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. All right, ladies first, go ahead. Oh, you want him to go first? All right, we'll go. You can go first. Go ahead. So, does anyone else here think that they can beat him at this game? Oh, nobody's wanting to take him on now. Right? You have it figured out, or?
A little bit.
Okay, so you explain to them why you won the game.
Well, in the beginning, all I have to do is, well, actually it's the same until like the last 3. So if you're facing an opponent, if they go first, you copy their move, and then if you go first, you do your moves, and then you just copy them until 5 steps, and then you have to figure out from there.
You're very close, very close, very close. Thank you. Good job. Give him a round of applause. So, in order to understand this game, you have to understand the simplest case of this game, and he, in fact, called it the simplest case. He says it comes down to the last 3 sticks. So he said if you're playing that game of the last 3 sticks, then what has to happen? You have to go first, right? Right? But in order to go first, you have to make sure that you're going first. And in reality, what you have here are 7 3-stick games. And if you understand on the simplest case level of how this game works, that all it is 7 3-stick games, then you can use that to your advantage and always win the final game. Does that make sense? This is the way the world works across the board, and it's important to simplify the world so that we can understand it and we can win. So my presentation is called The End of Entrepreneurship, and this is not, I went to a presentation in San Francisco where Clayton Christensen, the Dean of Harvard Business School, said that he anticipates 50% of U.S. colleges going bankrupt in the next 15 years. He said this in 2013 because of the way that the world's changing. So we had the tech crash, the housing crash, there's an education crash coming in the future. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about it. I think this is the last week of our entrepreneurship program here at Stone, right? This is the last presentation. But that's not the reason for my title. Is it the end of BYU football? Because Dave Neal broke his leg. Some people would think that it is, but that's not why I'm here. The reason that I'm here is to talk about the end as in purpose. The purpose of entrepreneurship, and what is your purpose for wanting to be an entrepreneur. So, with that said, I'm going to go through some of the purposes that I've had throughout the years on why I do what I do. When I was 9 years old, I worked for my uncles, trying to move hand pipe through grain, and my goal there wasn't to make money. It wasn't anything except to look tough to my uncles. That was my goal. And I made 10 cents per pipe at age 9. Moving water in the morning and the night. Then when I got a little older and started acquiring a little money, but I figured out that if I stacked up pieces of paper to be the size of dollar bills, and then put a dollar bill on top, that I could fill this. My mom had this silverware box that was filled with my great-grandmother's silver. And I emptied out all the silver. I don't know where I put it, but I just dumped it all out. And then I used this nice wooden box to fill with my blank white sheets of paper with a single dollar bill on the top. So it looked like I had a lot of money. And then when I graduated to $5 bills, then I looked really good. And then eventually I graduated to $10 bills on top. And but my whole goal there was to look like I was, rich. That was my goal, is to look good. All right, when I was 11 years old, I had a different goal. I grew up in Idaho, and we hoed beets. And if any of you have ever thinned beets, you have to make sure that the beets are a certain distance from each other. And the rows are really, really long, and when the sun gets really hot, and it makes it makes all the rows look crooked, and it's not fun. But my goal there was to raise some capital. I was saving up money, and we made about $15 per acre, which the average home in a city is on a quarter-acre lot. So if you can imagine 4 lots of homes, remove the homes, fill it with beets, and then hoe all that area for $15. That's what we were doing. And my goal was to raise capital, thinning beets at age 11. And the reason I wanted to raise capital is because I wanted to buy a cow. And my cow, the very first cow that I bought, her name was Milky. And I saved $150 for beets, and I got $25 from my dad. I had calculated to do $150, and then the price of cows went up right as I finished the beet season, and I didn't have enough money. My dad was like, "Well, you worked really hard, I'll give you $25." And so I bought this calf, but I was out of money, and I had no way to actually feed the calf. So I went over to a dairy that was nearby, rode over there on my bicycle, and the dairyman, I went up to him, he was this really big man, and I said, "I just bought a calf, and I don't have anything to feed it. Would you trade me food to feed this calf if I work for you?" He said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that, and I'll even pay you $1 an hour." And I was like, "Whoa, $1 an hour, let's do it." So I was really excited because I was going to get the food and I was going to get $1 an hour. And I worked for him for a long time, and I grew my calf. So when I was 12 and I was working on his dairy for a while, I started to notice the different things that they did on the dairy, and I started writing out these plans on paper of a dairy that I was going to build. And in this dairy, you can see that Milky is the ancestor of all the cows that I would have at the dairy. And she would have twin heifer calves, was my plan. And then those twin heifer calves would have twins as well. And you can see on my assumptions that I had 75% of my calves would be heifers, and 50% of the births would be twin births. And my mortality rate would be 0.3%, which, I mean, I give myself props for coming up with numbers for those things, but those are way, way off. So you can imagine that the very first calf that Milky had was a bull. So anyway, I started to get the hard knocks of building assumptions, but there was a man who was the brother of the dairyman that I worked for, and I was telling him my plans and showing him them and asking him questions, and he's like, "You're going to be the next J.R. Simplot." And I was like, "Who's J.R. Simplot?" He's like, "Oh, he's the guy who dropped out of school when he was a kid, and then he started the Simplot company that eventually sold potatoes to McDonald's to make French fries, and it's now Idaho's biggest company." And now I know when I drove by like granaries that had Simplot on the side that it was a guy's name, but I was just a boy playing around, trying to figure things out, and I don't say that to make myself look special. I actually haven't ever really considered myself an entrepreneur. It's been since I got older that I realized that some of the traits and characteristics that I have are similar to what some people who do entrepreneurship have. So the next goal I had was to pay for school. I went to this little school in Idaho. It was called American Heritage Academy, and we couldn't afford to go there. So I asked the administrators if I could start a little store, and I sold candy and different snacks in order to pay for my school. So the next goal that I had that I could think of as I was preparing this presentation is I actually served a mission in Mexico. And I was fortunate enough that my grandfather said that he would match every dollar that I would save towards serving a mission. And I ended up saving $5,000 by the time I was 19. And those came from 9 cows. I never made it to my $1 million dairy because it seemed like all Milky would have was bulls. And but I made it to 9 cows. And I worked 3 harvests and did 10 years of moving pipe and milking cows, owned dozens of chickens, sheep, pigs, and geese, and other animals, and I was able to clamor together $5,000. And then my grandfather matched the $5,000. But the goal there was to do service for other people. The next goal that I wanted to tell you about was after I got back from Mexico, our family struggled growing up and tried all different kinds of things to make a living and didn't have a whole lot. And one of the things that my mom always said to me was that being a professor would be a very secure job. And that my grandfather, he was a professor at BYU, and he had like sabbaticals, 2 months off every year. This would be a secure job. And so she encouraged me to do that. And I was thinking, oh, that sounds very wise. And so I did a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I had a full tuition scholarship to go to Penn State to do a PhD. I remember the very last day of my master's program. I was finishing up like a thesis or something, and I walked outside. And my eyes were tired from doing research, reading the document that I had created. I imagined how many people would read the document, and it wasn't very long list of people waiting to read that document that I spent so much time on. And I sat outside, and I was like, do I really want to be inside walls, reading books and writing papers for the rest of my life? And I was like, it doesn't sound like me. My mom said when I was growing up, I used to go out and put clothespins on cats' tails and chase them around outside. I'd love to be outside and just play. And so being inside the walls and learning all the time, I love to learn, but it just didn't seem quite right. And I said, do I think I can become a professor? Yeah. Do I think I can become an entrepreneur? I was starting a little better side on the side, and I was like, I don't really know if I can. And I said to myself, if I go another 10 years and I look back, where will I have regrets? And I said, well, I'm going to have regrets if I don't ever try. So I decided to try. Much to my wife's dismay, now 10 years later. No, she's actually one of the reasons that I've been able to do it. But it's been like I've had a lot of challenges choosing that path. But the way I looked at it was simply, I'll have more regrets if I don't know. So I'm going to try, even if I fail. Okay, so the next purpose, this was coming right out of my master's degree. I started a website called Family Learn, and I also started a website called MemoryPress.com. These were very cause-oriented businesses. I was saving all these stories for family, and we got some traction with the MemoryPress business. Family Learn would never really went anywhere, but with MemoryPress we got some traction. And started to grow it and got to 16 people. But what happened is, as we were selling the product, I wasn't paying careful enough attention to my assumptions in the business. Similar to when I was growing Dow, my assumptions were wrong, and I wasn't paying close enough attention to them. And some of the things that I assumed would happen as the business grew didn't happen. And so I made some poor choices, and then at the same time that I was trying to raise money for the company or sell it, there was a company that was interested in buying it. I had a phone call scheduled to talk to a company that was interested in buying MemoryPress from us. And that, I think it was a Thursday or Friday that Lehman Brothers fell. Anyway, it happened the day that I was scheduled to have this conversation. The conversation went off, and all capital markets pretty much froze up, especially for unproven entrepreneurs. And we went into a free-for-all and went from 16 employees down to 4, to where I could barely keep food on the table, type of a situation. And it was, I drew this picture of me sitting out on the porch the day that our website crashed, and I had let go one of the engineers who actually understood key things about getting the website back online. The website crashed, customers were calling in complaining. I didn't have enough money to make payroll. I was sitting out on a porch, and it was one of the darkest moments of my life. And in this case, my only goal was just to survive. That's it. The next examples that I'll give you are goals to solve the problem. And Alan mentioned this. My brother and I and Robert Wagstaff founded Orabrush together. And this happened during that dark period of time for me when I was in a rough place and doing contracting work in order to make ends meet. And I came across the Orabrush, loved the product, and we decided to help Robert Wagstaff market it. And it turned out to be a huge success. Apparently, Robert Wagstaff came and spoke here. So, has everyone here seen the Orabrush video? I won't make you watch it if you haven't. Oh, you haven't? Okay, so this is the video that took us to all the major retailers in the world.
Halitophobia, the irrational fear of bad breath. I'm a halitophobic.
I'm not so much afraid of me having bad breath. I'm afraid of other people having bad breath.
As in, hey buddy, your breath smells like crap. Maybe you should develop a case of halitophobia. Now I know what you're asking. How do we know if we have bad breath? You use this. Use a spoon. Now I know what you're thinking. A spoon. You eat with a spoon. You play spoons. You spoon your girlfriend. You take a spoon. You take the spoon and you stick it to the back of your tongue and gently scrape. Let it dry and take a whiff. If it stinks, your breath stinks. And if your breath stinks, this is the only kind of spooning you're going to be getting. The smell that you were out there look to check your bad breath, you notice that we checked our tongue.
90% of bad breath comes from bacteria and residue on the tongue.
On your tongue.
Now, your mom doesn't sound so stupid for telling you to brush your tongue.
Now, does she? Tongues are like sponges, soaking up all that bacteria. Toothbrushes are meant to clean the smooth surfaces of your teeth, not your tongue. And the tongue scraper, you remember the sponge, right? The tongue scraper just goes over the top of your tongue. This ain't gonna work. And mouthwash, this is like trying to clean your carpet with a hose. You're just going around the drop. Then there's the option that actually works. This, the order brush. The soft bristles feel great on your tongue. You just go back and forth a few times, then go all the way back, pull it forward, and see what comes off. It's the cure to bad breath. You can use this longer than your toothbrush. Use it in the morning, eliminate morning breath, fresh breath all day, and then use it at night, right before bed. You know what I'm talking about. So do you and me, the rest of mankind, a favor, get one of these. And your Uncle Steve, the one who looks like he's got a thick coat of fur on his tongue, get him one too. Put it in his Christmas stocking, he'll think.
Okay, that's the order brush. So the problem we're solving for people there is bad breath. The next problem that we worked on is called poopery, and this we're solving bathroom odor. Have you all seen this video? Who hasn't seen this video, raise your hand. All right, let's go ahead and show it.
You would not believe the mother loader I just dropped. And that's how I like to keep it. Leaving not a trace that I was ever here, let alone that I just birthed a creamy behemoth from my cabin spirals. Nothing is worse than stinking up the shared toilet at work, or the toilet at a party, or your lover's apartment. Of course, flashing removes the graphic evidence. Maybe 2 or 3 flashes if your skid mark's as tenacious as mine. But what can be done with that subtle scent of a 300-cow dairy farm? Aerosol air fresheners aren't the most effective option, or the healthiest. Trying to mask the stench, giving you a nice blend of chemical carnations with just a touch of feces. So, how do you make the world believe your poop doesn't stink? Or in fact that you never poop at all? Poopery. Poopery is the before you go toilet spray, which is proven to trap those embarrassing odors at the source and save relationships. Simply split poopery in the bowl to create a film on the water's surface that actually traps the odours in their porcelain prison. And when your little astronauts splash down and make contact with the film, they release poopery's pleasant aromas, so all those around them smells a refreshing bouquet of essential oils. Yes, it is a real product. And yes, it really works. We've sold over 4 million bottles. On Amazon alone, there are over 1,000 reviews rating it 4.8 of 5 stars. That's a better Amazon rating than the iPhone 5. If it doesn't completely stop your stench from spreading, send it back for a full refund. Our unconditional stink-free guarantee. If your poo stinks, click here to get your poopery today at poopery.com. So whether you pinch a loaf at work, cut a robe at a party, or lay a brick at your boyfriend's, your days of embarrassing smells or prairie dogging it are over. Poopery. Our business is to make it smell like your business never even happened.
That video was the number 5 ad campaign in the world on YouTube last year. So it did, it was kind of like the perfect storm of marketing opportunity and something that YouTube would dig, literally. And so when I first read the script, I was just like, oh man, and there's no way we're pulling this off until I met this girl. She's just so good. So anyways, so we were solving bathroom odor. The next one, and that's the one that Snow invited me here to speak about, was to solve bosoms, blood, and bad words in movies. So here's the video. Actually, I'm going to show you this video first.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Second, see if I can get to the next slide. Okay, so here's the behind the scenes video for this.
Cameras ready? That's on. Ready? Aim. 3, 2, 1, fire!
The first big street square was in 1939, and Gone with the Wind, and for a while the average movie had only 5 or 6 swear words. Then came the sexual revolution, and there has been no looking back. In 2013, Wolf of Wall Street broke every swearing record. We wanted to visually show the impact of 798 swear words. A family of 4 means we needed 798 paintballs per person. We got 50 fully automatic paintball guns. Each gun shoots 12 balls per second. We shot about 3,192 paintballs in 5.3 seconds. Crazy. Video is streaming movies, minus the Muslims, blood, and battles. It essentially gives people a really sophisticated remote to skip over or mute the content that they don't want to see. We've made Video filters free for your PC or laptop. Just click here to get started. That includes free filters for new releases and TV shows. In Hollywood, they do a lot of cuts for different movies. They start out with the cut for the theater, goes into wide distribution, but then they'll do the director's cut, and that's for artists, the extended cut for Peter Jackson, airline broadcast cut for the FCC, Middle Eastern cut for Islam, the unrated cuts for the Kurds. There's even fan cuts for YouTube, fan cuts for just sex scenes for Game of Thrones, others have just violent deaths. What we really felt like was missing was a family cut. And so that's what video caters to. It gives the ability for people to pick and choose in 1,000 different variations how they want their family to be able to watch the movie. We have all hot new releases Netflix doesn't have. It's simple and seamless. A couple clicks and you're ready to go.
When I first heard the idea that David Ackerman had, he said, let's just take the guy's shirt off and shoot him with a paintball, and then shoot him with 800 paintballs.
So we wanted to approach this very carefully. So before we were going to put a family of 4 through 798 paintball shots in 4 seconds, I was going to try to experiment with it myself. So I put on a 7mm neoprene scuba suit.
He walked like a robot because his suit was so thick. And he's just like, this is going to be no problem. No problem whatsoever. And Ben was joking with me that he was going to aim at more sensitive areas of the body.
Took 5 shots. Hurt so bad.
Immediately, as soon as the ball hit his chest, he's just like, stop, 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 no.
He stuck a huge piece of styrofoam like a chest plate on me, and then it went right through the chest plate. Hurt just as bad.
It was like, it didn't even exist. And he started screaming again.
And I had welts for 2 weeks on my chest. I went back and told the team that I didn't think the shoot was possible. I thought we might kill somebody or send them to the hospital. Kind of started to call the shoot off until one of the guys brought up a fiber fix.
Jeff called us up and said, hey, we need something that will withstand the blow of 800 paintballs, and we heard about your part and we wanted to try it out. So this is fiber fix, and it's normally used for things like pipe repair or play the shovel. You can wrap it up and it'll be strong and ready to go within 10 minutes. We made some armor, took it out back behind the warehouse, tested it for the first time, and we were pretty confident it was going to work, and it worked far better than we even expected. And although we don't officially endorse it for this kind of use, can be found at Amazon, BBC, or in Home Depot, Lowe's, or other major hardware retailers.
All right, hey, how you guys doing? I'm Jacob Ford, I'm the director of this commercial. Today what we're doing is we're going to watch high frame rate shooting of paintballs. I think it's going to be really awesome. We chose Jacob Shores as a director because he has an amazing eye for color.
Okay, we're
And
ready.
he understands YouTube, these guys have their own channel.
If you want to watch this, you can
There's 4 different.
There's some cool details about it. Of course, we've run out of time. Okay, so in every single instance of the examples that I've given you, we have a different measure of success. A goal, a purpose, an end to why I was doing entrepreneurship. And you may have your own end, but all of us are looking for success, right? And I wanted to share with you just a couple of thoughts before we get into questions and answers about success. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Randy Nelson. You have to honor failure, because failure is just the negative space around success. There was an article that was done recently about a study from the New York public school system in which they took 2 classrooms. And in one classroom, they told the kids, you guys are really smart. And in the other classroom, they didn't. They just taught them. And then they tested them over a period of time to find out whether telling people affirmatively something positive like, you're really smart, helped them or hurt them. And the interesting thing is that the class that wasn't told they're smart did better. Now, the article and the hypothesis for why this is the students were being told about something that they had no power over. You know, they have no control over their intelligence, how their mind works. All they have control is their work ethic, their study ethic, their attitude to how they address school. And when they're being told you're really, really smart, then the kids who are told they're really, really smart, when they come across something that felt difficult, that felt like they couldn't do it, their innate reaction is, I don't want to do this because maybe people will find out that I'm not smart after all. And so they wouldn't try. They'd give up. They'd give up sooner. Whereas the other kids, they built those ethics. They didn't have it in their mind whether they're smart or not. They just had it in their mind a problem that they needed to solve, and then they would go and they would try to solve that problem. And I think that this speaks to the same thing as Randy Nelson's quote about honoring failure. We have to be okay that things are hard and that we make mistakes in order to get to success. Now, this, I believe, is the simplest case for success, whatever it is your end or your purpose or goal. This is the equivalent of the 3 state games. As long as you get back up, whenever times get dark, whenever things go bad, you will succeed. It might not turn out exactly how you planned. You know, I thought I would be doing different things than selling all kinds of odor prevention. That's not where I envisioned being successful. But the lessons that I learned during my so-called failures were the ones that made it so that when an opportunity and I came together, I was able to perform on that opportunity. And that became my success. This is my favorite poem. It's called If by Rudyard Kipling. And I think it speaks to this, and it speaks to the ethics that I feel like every entrepreneur needs. And again, back to the entrepreneur, I think it's a really bad idea to say that somebody is a born entrepreneur and somebody is not. I don't think, because I don't feel like I don't feel like that's the way the world works. The way entrepreneurship works is you have a goal, you work towards that goal, and you either fall and get back up, or you reach that goal. It's very simple. It's a very simple equation. Or you drop out and quit. Any single one of us can do that. In whatever it is, I just went and visited this knife maker that visited here at Snow College. That was his goal. That's what he achieved. Me as a 9-year-old or as an 11-year-old trying to earn a cow, those are achievable goals. I have a brother who is in a promotional products business. His goal is to provide for his family and to just meet and work with really entrepreneurial people. it doesn't matter what the goal is. Let's just not say that we are or are not something. Let's just focus on what we can do. That's what I feel like this poem focuses on, is what you can do. And my favorite part of the poem is if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. I want you to think back to in 2008 on whether Neal Harmon is a different person today than he was in 2008. I mean, I know when I used to go to these classes, I'd look at people up there and I'd say, oh man, they're so successful, or they did all these amazing things. But I look at what happened in 2008 when I was sitting on that porch and I decided not to give up. And I feel like I learned more from those lessons, or as much as I'm learning from the lessons now. Either one does not change who I am. Triumph and disaster, if we let them puff us up or knock us down, are imposters. And I want you to listen to this poem. It's amazing.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truths you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a track for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Okay, great. So, questions? Questions about anything that we've talked about today? We have a few minutes here before we end. Yes? Gentleman with the beard.
In the video about the angel, we show like the stats, all the servers and things. There's one that's was blasphemy. How do you categorize blasphemy?
So his question is, in the video about the angel, how is blasphemy categorized? It's a great question. And our system is run by a community of taggers from all different walks of life. And there are different forms of blasphemy for different religions. So, I mean, for some, Allah is blasphemy. For others, Jesus. It varies. And so we just had a series of tags. They're generated by the community, and we pulled all the ones that any faith would consider blasphemy, and then we counted those up. Okay? Yeah, good question. Another question? I saw another hand over here. It wasn't the same question. Yeah?
What did you study?
Oh, great. The question is, what did I study? As an undergrad, I studied what's called American Studies at BYU, which basically means just build your own program as long as you convince your advisor that it fits into the program. Because I just wanted to learn about everything. Then I did a master's in instructional psychology and technology, which is the science of how people learn using modern technologies to facilitate learning. Great, thanks. I saw a hand back here in the back and then a hand over here in the blue shirt. Yes?
Behind all of this, to see a vast network, how did you go about developing your network? Was it your videos?
Okay, he says behind all of this, there's a massive network of people who were able to develop these videos. And how did we go about developing the network? And that's an awesome question. There was a certain amount of serendipity. When my brother was finishing up BYU, he dormed with a number of creative people. One of them helped polish off the Orabrush script to be very funny. His name's Joel Ackerman. And then Austin Craig worked with him in his work and always ranted about politics. And Jeffrey was one day, it's just like, I wonder if you could rant about bad breath the way you rant about politics. And as soon as we had, so the very first was serendipity. There was a lot of little pieces that just came together. In that very first video, if you listen closely, you can hear pool balls because it was shot in a pool room. It's shot on a super small budget. But as soon as we had a success, then, that's the crazy thing about the world. The world wants to, congregate around success. And so then our network started to grow as we did one project to another. And it's a lot easier for us to get people to want to work on projects now because of what we've learned. That was a good question. So some of it was just luck, honestly. But I think that the principle is to get started, and then you meet people, and then you build something, and then that helps you meet new people, and you build something. Okay, blue shirt over here.
Do you have like a certain message to generating business ideas? And if so, like, how do you tell a business idea about it?
Oh, that's a huge question. But it's a great question. He said, do we have a method for how we evaluate business ideas and decide whether an idea is good? Yes, we probably have a more finely tuned method for, and this could be for another day, but for how to optimize video so that it succeeds. Like the Poopery video turned into this huge viral ad because we got the very best thumbnail and the very best intro and the very best outro all mixed together. We did testing across all of those, and then as soon as we found the best thumbnail and the best intro and the best outro, we put all three of those together and the video just started taking off. But if we would never have done those things, it would have never taken off. And that's something that we've learned over time. And when I have time, maybe next year or something, I can come and share with you a little bit more about the marketing model. It's a great question. I think we're out of time. I'm happy to answer questions afterwards, but I think that we have to close here.
Thank you so much. Generous of him to offer to kick around and work for a little bit. I know he's pretty accessible. He had his email on the first slide that he put up. Thank you so much, Mr. Neal Harmon.